Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today, I have lots to talk to you about, you guys. Okay, so I did a deep dive on this New York trip a while ago. You can actually find this video right here. And if you go to my main page under the So Much Cringe tab, you'll see that video. It's easy to find, or if you just look up my channel name and New York, you'll see this video pop right up. If you know my channel at all, if you know me, I'm Jen by the way, at all, you'll know that I'm obsessed with this trip. This trip was a disaster at every single leg. I mean, let me just refresh your memory. Okay, this was 2021. This was their first tour after leaving the royal family. And I'm using the words like that because nobody knew what it was, including Dumb and Dumber, Harry and Meghan. They didn't know what it was. They treated it like a royal tour, but they were no longer royal, so nobody knew what to do with them. They were just making these stops around New York and making complete and total, whats of themselves. This is where we got this outfit, one of the all-time worst I've ever seen, ever. We'll go into it, but just refreshing your memory on this trip. And again, check out my video if you want all the deep dives on all the things they got wrong on this trip, because so many things at every turn went wrong because they're idiots and they handled it just every wrong move you can make. Okay, funny to watch them scramble in hindsight, but they were scrambling because, again, this is their first gig outside the royal family, and they were pretending like they still, worked back then. By the way, when thinking about this and looking at these pictures, keep in mind that it was like 80 degrees, 26 degrees Celsius during this trip. And look how she's dressed. She's still getting the weather wrong. Why are we talking about this now? Okay, that's my question too. Daily Mail has this new article out that I find completely fascinating. And it says, Harry and Meghan are accused of trying to gag teachers and students at NYC school they visited in 2021 by prohibiting them from making negative social media posts now or in the future. Dun, dun, dun. I find this fascinating. It's not that it surprises me because of course they would do stuff like this. But again, in the video, I go into how they made every single wrong move that you could make. And we'll go into some of the details here, but now they're trying to silence people that were there so they don't speak up about it. Interesting, right? All right, we'll read a little more and then we'll discuss amongst ourselves. Here we go. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have been accused of trying to gag teachers and students at a New York school they visited 2 years ago. The Duke and, I won't even say their titles, the idiots visited public school 123 Malia Jackson, which is among one of the poorest in New York City. Now keep that in mind because that's going to come up in September 2021. Meghan was dressed in a $5,000 suit and a Cartier watch. Or, I don't know. I'm so mad I can't even think straight. I go over all the jewelry in the other video. But, yeah, her coat cost, let me put the picture back up so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so as mentioned in the article, this is an area where the people are struggling. One of the statistics I found when putting together this video is that I believe it's 94% in the area. The kids depend on the school lunches. Okay. They said that there are 12 area shelters that the kids come from to go to the school. So keep that in mind while this idiot is cosplaying as the Joker and wearing this outfit that, again, let me just remind you, the coat, $5,840. The pants, $1,600. They estimated with her jewelry minus her engagement ring and clothes, she's at about $16,000 for this appearance. Around the time that her book was out, The Bench, and I almost slipped up and called it something else, but where my mind goes there with her. Okay, so she's reading her book to these kids. Again, this isn't the story, but I'm setting the stage. And these people have to sit here and take this crap from this woman who is just so tone deaf and unaware. And yes, her doofus husband was there too, and he's tone deaf and unaware as well. But here you go. Take a look at this. Again, totally fine. No, doesn't see the problem with wearing this to such an underserved, whatever you want to call it, this school where these kids are struggling. All right, let's pick back up with the article. Advisors from their foundation demanded, I won't say that name either, demanded the Harlem School sign a clause ban anyone from making negative comments, according to The Sun. The request was also related to any posts on social media now or in the future. So, okay. Once again, these two are making it about themselves. You're not allowed to talk bad about us. You're not allowed to talk about us now or in the future. Now, let me bring this up. Have you ever heard even rumblings of the royal family doing this as far as when they go to an appearance or go do a charitable event, whatever it is? This is not a charitable event that they were doing, but I'm saying something like that. When they go to do an event, have you ever heard of them making people sign NDAs to not talk about them in the future? No, I haven't either. Because if you act like a human being, you don't have to have people sign things like that. If you act like monsters like these two allegedly did, then of course you're going to have them sign things you're going to try to get people to sign things like that. And by the way, since we're talking about this anyway, I don't go conspiracy theory. It's just not my thing. I know some channels do. It's not my thing. Okay. But I am going to talk about something that comes up a lot when I talk about the story, because the story grosses me out so bad. I do talk about it a lot. And inevitably I get comments. So I'm just telling you what people tell me. I don't have this on fact. It's just something I've heard from quite a few other YouTubers and from you guys in the comments, which is allegedly those books were charged to, see, this is where I get confused. The way I've heard it explained to me, allegedly, those books were charged $5 a piece to these families who are struggling. I'm saying allegedly because I don't have this on fact. This is something I've heard from quite a few people. I would love to know the truth on that one. Let me know in the comments if you've heard the same thing. If that's the case, I would roast her ass. I would roast both of their asses over this, because that's so disgusting. You go there and read them your stupid book and try to move some stupid numbers of your stupid book, and you're going to try to charge them? I don't think so. They suck so bad. I actually hope this is not true. I hope so. I would hope they would have a little more class or dignity than that, but what am I thinking? The other thing I've heard, this is alleged, this is again a rumor. I don't know that it's true. It's just something I've heard I want to discuss with you all. I've heard about this NDA thing. I actually heard about it around the time I was reporting on it, and I don't remember if I mentioned it in my other video or not, that I had heard that this was the thing, because again, I don't like to go into things unless I feel pretty confident or have, sources that verify this stuff with me. So this is alleged, but allegedly, yeah, they got NDAs, and you know what they did? They didn't sign them. Now, I would like to know if that's true or not. I don't know if that's the case. That's another thing that I'm like, I wish some of these people would speak up, some of the people that were there or that were being asked to sign them. I'd heard something about that they had, was it a burning party or something where they burned the NDAs? I think it'd be funny if they burned the books personally, but anyway, whatever happened, it's just disgusting to me. But I find it interesting that this story is coming out now and that people are uncovering this stuff now, because I've been talking about this trip forever. Because again, every step of this trip, they did the worst things possible. And to me, this was like it's hard to pick a worst. This is one of the worst things I've seen because it involves kids. So the visit to this school was documented for their Netflix series. What a joke. Okay, we talked about that. How much she wore. And see here in the article, it points out that 95% of the children are classed as suffering economic hardship. Freedom of information requests have revealed how the couple's advisors at Archewell tried to protect their image. Good luck with that. Now, are these all the ones that have quit? Because I don't think anybody stays on that company for very long. It also It also highlights how their team banned 4 British newspapers from attending an event at the World Trade Center. Oh, I go into that too in the video I keep talking about. Again, I'm going to flash it up here on the screen. Definitely check it out because I go into that. They're horrible, horrible people. And if you're ever on the fence like, maybe they're not horrible people, and you don't think about, everything they did to the Queen and Prince Philip, I'd say, think about everything they did right after they left the royal family, because this is part of it. Okay, so it goes on to say that the plan for the trip began 6 months before the event. Again, so this is what I want you to wrap your head around. They're calling it this event, and the plans made 6 months in advance. This was not a royal engagement. This was not a royal tour. They were treating it like that, and the idiots, they were meeting with them and I'm not talking about the school people. I don't think it's not their fault, but I'm saying like these government officials that were making time and meeting with them. I'm sorry, I'm still here. I'm just furious. We're treating it like a royal event, right? Everybody was still buying their BS at that point. Not everybody, not us, but you know what I mean? These officials. Anyway, so Archwell representatives emailed the Department of Education 3 days before the visit. They requested the appearance release, which included the gagging clause, and asked them to run it by their lawyers. Another email from NYC School's press secretary had asked for the best way to get it all agreed, but is not clear if the Sussex's request was signed. See, this is why I have to say allegedly. I've heard exactly this, but I'm not positive. It's my opinion. I don't think it was. And I'd heard things like people refused and they were pissed off. Rightly so. So again, this was all being orchestrated. The dumbasses were working on a press release to get this information out there. Like, ooh, we went to the school. Look, we're good people. They're terrible people. So the education, whatever I said that was, they wanted to remove the reference to the bench and said, quote, just wanted to make it a bit less promotion-y. Then the article wraps up by saying Daily Mail has tried to contact them for comment, no word yet. I'm going to wrap this up by saying this is all BS. I don't know why this is coming out now, but I think it's fabulous that it is. When I say it's all BS, I mean they are BS. I think it's fabulous that it's coming back out. I don't care if this was 2 years ago. I don't think we should forget about it. And I think we should remember their terrible behavior. So when we see them on stage, grabbing mics and trying to accept awards and get their names out there, we should remember this. And remember how they acted. And I'm lumping both of them together because they both suck. But by the way, Michelle Obama had just worn this previously, or before Meghan went and did this. So I was in my other video, I talk about how she's cosplaying Michelle Obama. Notice the placement of Michelle's belt high up and how Meghan likes to do the same thing. So I think she was cosplaying her to try to get it written up in the paper like, oh, look, it's the next Michelle Obama. That kind of thing. Anyway, I don't get political here. I don't want to discuss it, but I just think knowing Meghan like I do now, I think that's the comparison she was going for. Anyway, I'm glad this is coming out. I don't care if it's 2 years later. I don't know why people are bringing this out now, but bring it on. I'd say maybe this is the sign of the floodgates opening and people finally realizing, hey, these are awful people. Let's talk about it some more. And I'm like, hey, come sit next to me, drunk goose. Like, we'll have some cocktails and we'll talk about it. Believe me, I am down to talk about this stuff. I could go on for hours about this stuff because I'll never forget it. They're disgusting people. You guys, however, are wonderful people, and I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you all so very much. You're the best bunch of flockers this lady goose could ask for. I appreciate you all. I'm dying to know your thoughts on this one. Let me know. Have you heard a lot of the same things I talked about in the video? Have you heard these rumors? Have you heard these opinions? Have you heard about this crap? The $5 charge? Have you heard about that? That's something I'd been hearing about. Let me know if this trip weighs on your mind like it does mine, because I'm kind of obsessed with it. Anyway, guys, you guys are the best. I appreciate the heck out of every single one of you. So this is where I want to tell you how to further support my show. If you want to further support, check out the merch. We got Recollections May Vary, Drunk Goose Club, honk everybody. We got Make It Make Sense, all the things. Check that out. I'll put the link below. But also, if you want to further support, check out Patreon. That's where we do bonus deep dives. I go into all this stuff. We actually read The Bench, and Jay and I gave it a new name that you can imagine. And it's on Patreon, so check that out. And that's where you can become an executive producer. Now, I made the announcement before. I'm reminding everybody, this is where I say the names of my executive producers. Now, starting in October, I am changing things up a little bit. I've heard you. The names go on. I love the executive producers. We're going to find a new way to thank them. So you'll see that change up. So jump in, become one, and you'll see that change starting the beginning of October. So now is where I'm going to thank all my executive producers. Here we go. Thanks so much for being here. A huge thank you to Linda. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you to Paige. Huge thank you to Teresa. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Shauna. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Aaron and Frank. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Ann M. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Ann H. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Glynis. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Adair Becker. Thank you to Erica. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Barb G. Thank you to Diana. Thank you, Allison B. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Lori. Thank you to Pauline. Thank you to KT. Thank you, Jolene. Thank you, Stromboli. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Loie. Thank you, Lucy H. Thank you to Georgia. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Robin's Landing. Thank you to Helen. Thank you to Mara. Thank you, Ashley C. Thank you to Molly. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Sand Squid. Thank you to Rach. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Dee Dee. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Penny. Thank you, Domby. Thank you, Android P. Thank you to Sheena. Thank you, Aaron M. Thank you, Faye. Thank you, Judith. Thank you, Spectrum Mom. Thank you, Vanessa B. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Mimi Heathcote. Thank you, Misty. Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you to Bree. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you to Elvis Rose here on YouTube. Thank you to Lori. Thank you, Tim B. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Elisa. Thank you, Kathy with a C. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you to Patricia. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Ridley. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, John. Thank you, Donna D. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Chewy. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, 509 Cougs. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, BJ. Thank you, Big Bad John. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Duck Barf. Your name is always funny to me. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Vicky loves her corgi. Thank you, Charisse. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Genesee. Thank you, Essie. Thank you, Lady Grandmother. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Funky Buddha. And thank you, Trish. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Kay Coffee. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Bree. Thank you, K Cubed. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Peggy. Thank you, Stragoria. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Morty, por favor. Thank you, Penny. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Salami Mommy. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Zara. Thank you, Shiny. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Annalise. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Airdrie. Thank you, Lori Ann. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Colleen. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Krisha. Thank you, Jay Jordan. Thank you, Ariella. Thank you, David the Maine Coon. Thank you, Little P. Thank you, Big City Eileen. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Cherokee. Thank you, Tiffany W. Can you guys believe I ran out of namespace on the other ones? I had to start a new list here. It's just unbelievable. Thank you to everybody who has signed up to be an executive producer. If you're interested, definitely check out patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. Thank you guys for everything. Have a great day. Bye-bye.